How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking all about Solo Leveling episode 12, which is the new upcoming episode of season 1 of Solo Leveling, which marks the end of season 1 first core or the season 1 itself. I'm not really too sure. I should probably look it up before I make a video on this, but oh well. Now, with the final episode of the alleged first core of the first season of Solo Leveling coming out, I figured it was only right for me to speak on the final episode of this core season because I'm a really big manhwa nerd and I have been really looking forward to this entire season of Solo Leveling, but I haven't made too many videos on it, so I feel like I've really let the real nerd inside of me down, so I've got to scrape out some before it gets, old news. But let's get into the reason why I am making such a big deal about this episode. And that is because this episode is the Arise episode. And if you don't know what I mean by the Arise episode, you are in for a complete and utter treat. That is, if they don't mess it up. Now, so far, this anime has done an amazing job at capturing just about everything there is about the Solo Leveling world and manhwa. They have not added in too much unnecessary things or strayed too far off the path of glory. But being the pessimist that I truly am, there is always room for error. And this episode coming out on Saturday will basically make or break the entirety of the show itself. Side note, I don't know if you guys noticed, I got a little haircut. Do you like it? Now back to the main point of the video. Now, what I mean by saying that the show itself will basically cease to exist, it'll be completely downhill, is that not really the show itself will be bad, because everything's been pretty good up until this point, but the fans themselves will not let this slide. If they slip up by something as big as Arise, the show of Solo Leveling as we know it will just completely get demolished by the fans. And there's some pretty solid evidence to back this up. To jog your memory a bit, let's think back, a couple weeks ago, we had this thing called a review episode. And that thing, I believe, is sitting at the #1 most disliked episode in Crunchyroll history. And to top that off, we had a Solo Leveling documentary that got review bombed with over 25% of the reviews just straight up being 1-star reviews. The Solo Leveling community is very, very ruthless. And if they screw up on something as groundbreaking as Arise, this show will just get absolutely tossed in the mud. And if they truly mess it up that bad, there might just be riots in the streets. And you might catch me leading one of those riots, but I don't know. Now, for all of my anime-only viewers that do not read the manhwa, so you don't know about this whole Arise thing, let's go over it just a bit so you know exactly what we're talking about. So, slight spoiler, but not really, because it's pretty obvious and it's been talked about a lot in the community. And if you've looked up any other videos, you've probably heard the saying at least once. When my goat Sungdrip Woo gets his new job, it is the job of a necromancer. But he's not your typical necromancer. He's not one of those gross necromancers that fondle dead bodies. He instead takes out the shadows of corpses. So instead of a whole body walking around, it is instead a materialized, overpowered shadow. Hence the term you may have heard being thrown around, Shadow Monarch. Now that doesn't truly encapsulate what Shadow Monarch means. That's a whole different thing for itself. But in this term, you can look at Shadow Monarch as him just, owning some shadows. And in order to capture these shadows, you've got to have a cool catchphrase, because what are you doing if you don't have a cool catchphrase? And for Sungjin Woo, his catchphrase is Arise. Now, back to my expectations. Off of the previous episodes, I don't think we are going to see them mess this up, because the adaptation has followed the manhwa quite well. But if this episode does not provide a satisfactory Arise moment, I feel like the future of Solo Leveling will become quite bleak. I mean, I can kind of see us anticipating this episode so much, and Sungjin Woo pulls up to the dead body join me, or something like that. Now, I mean, they can replace Arise with something with the same meaning, like join me, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't have the same impact. But I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a manhwa reader, so my opinion on the whole thing is a bit skewed. I feel like if Sungjin Woo doesn't say Arise, the entirety of Solo Leveling will completely flop, and it will get flooded with nothing but bad reviews. Though I feel like if they do the Arise moment in a groundbreaking way, this new episode, or at least clips of the new episode, will go down in probably the Anime Hall of Fame. But if you have read the manhwa or you haven't, I'm genuinely interested in what you believe is going to happen. Like, what are your thoughts if they do end up saying Arise, or if they skip it and add in some other random words? Will it live up to its expectations, or will it shatter our hopes and dreams? Now, I hope you all enjoyed this video of my anticipations for the new episode of Solo Leveling, and I am truly thankful for you sitting here and watching the whole video. Now, if you're new here, feel free to check out all of my social medias up here. Maybe hit the subscribe button, maybe leave a like, join the Discord. That would be pretty dope. You'll get notified when I post. I am looking into revamping the entire Discord, so heads up for that. I'm also working on a merch type thing. It's going to be like a whole clothing brand itself, so keep an eye out for that. It's surrounding mental health, so I really want to put like some passion into it. I'm not like rushing it. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful, wow, I got a lot of oomph on that one, day, night, morning, afternoon, sunrise, sunset, whatever time it is for you. I hope you have a great one because you deserve it. I love you all so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.